Cheers. Hello on Rise and Remember. I'm Nikki.
Good morning. I'm Diane. What a
We are here
morning.
to chat about some stuff. Stuff. Life has
Stuff.
got all kinds of stuff today. Um, yeah. So I've said this in a past episode, I'm sure. We're in eclipse season. It goes till March 3rd. Today's the 25th of February. So we still have a week of this. I see it, and it's been getting clearer to me each year because we have two eclipse seasons a year. During the 2 week phase of these eclipses, it's like a drink tray that has got started to wobble and is falling. Like you don't want to interrupt. You just got to let everything fall. And it's awkward and uncomfortable. Just letting it fall is an upgrade because we're used to being all in it, try to control it, and da da da. Um, but yeah, so things are still wobbling and falling apart, at an amplified rate. And I had some huge, huge realizations this past weekend, leading up to my retreat on Sunday. And then ever since, it's been one after the other. How about you, Diane? How's this eclipse season on you, girl?
This this eclipse is kicking my butt. It's like every day there's something and it's unexpected. I literally just took an exam, and in the middle of my exam, mind you, with do not disturb on my phone starts ringing. I'm like, I'm not going to look at it because I'm almost done. I will deal with this in 5 minutes when I'm done. And of course, it was another problem dealing with mom. There's always so many things. It's a never ending story.
Hmm. Uh, yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot that can be spoken about because in my email that I'm sending out later this week, kind of the theme that has come really loud for me is I realize because eclipses will show us our shadows quickly as the energy tries to propel us on our own progressive forward movement path. The shadow that came loud to me is I have probably for many lifetimes been trying to control outcomes to the point of completing the thing, like not leaving a pause for someone else to like rise up. But most importantly, and this has been a loud message for me for the past year, and I'm surprised it just now landed, but I have not been leaving space for divine intervention. I thought I was, but wasn't. That's what happens when you stop trying to micromanage stuff. When you do what you can, but you deliberately don't finish, so that there could be some kind of third option, some other kind of space for miracles. We completely slam the door closed on miracles by trying to hyper focus and control outcomes. And that came super loud to me because what also happens, not only are we disrupting divine intervention, but we pinch off miracles like you're stepping on your own oxygen hose because life is supposed to be like a woven rope of miracles and magic. Like it's supposed to be, okay, me miracles, like if that's the way life is supposed to be. But I realized how I don't let that happen. I'm like, and it's a trauma response because in the past, if I left things open, I got hurt, I got disappointed, I got left behind, I was abandoned. Um, it exposed how things weren't safe. So it's a safety protocol that isn't Nikki specific. We all do this to some degree. That's what control issues are. But it came clear to me where I've been doing it as a yoga teacher, Reiki healer, Akashic record channel. Like I have these modalities that I've fallen in love with and they're potent and they're powerful. And still, I wasn't leaving enough space for the divine to complete things. I was running a program that says it's all on me, and if I don't do it, it won't get done. But that overrides divine truth. How's that land for you, girl?
I don't even know where it lands. My head is like, what else do I have to do today? What other problem's gonna fall in my lap? I mean, I definitely it resonates. Like I've had to let go this week, knowing that, I had this big exam coming up. I've been studying all weekend, I wasn't feeling physically great over the weekend. And I got to a point where I was like, I think I need some help to see where I'm going to go study for the next day before my exam. And for some reason, I just was like, oh, just reach out to your teacher, see what she says. And she literally went over the lecture with me by myself all over again. And I was like, okay, a lot of things clicked when I took the exam. It was helpful, right? But that just came when I kind of surrendered. So I think that's the whole thing. We have to surrender, we have to let go of that control. Um, and it comes in different parts of our lives where it's not expected, right?
And I love that you got that guidance to do it in the surrender. I was just listening to an interview with Erin Lyons, and she was talking about how her YouTube channel got shut down because it was hijacked or something. And she's like, I just am going to let go of this. I'm going to make a decision that this YouTube live and then tell them. And then that person who she watched told her what to do. She ended up getting her channel back on. But that those kinds of tips and insights don't come in when we're choosing to be in that I need to control the outcome state. It's such a
Yeah.
delicious reminder. And it also feeds into a theme that I brought it to the retreat, which is energy leaks. We need to consider our energetic hygiene. And there's ways that we leak energy. We are all wired for infinite, miraculous magnet potential, creative potential. It is unfathomable how much power we each have. But we have leaks, just like pipes. I consider it like a bowl with holes that's like now a spaghetti strainer because of various things. But what came through is like energy leaks in terms of feeling regret that you should have done this instead of that, or ruminating over a past conversation. Yeah, that's a energy leak. Or trying to pre-pave and rehearse a conversation in your head. That's an energy. Anytime we're not in the present moment, we're leaking energy. I mean, you're going to have a moment and think 10 steps, okay, I have to go get the groceries. I have to, like, that's not the same thing. But when we are in our head, fruitlessly ruminating and trying to prepare for this conversation or this event or this experience, and we don't leave room for divine intervention, that's an energy leak. If I'm judging people, I'm judging myself. How often do we judge ourselves? Probably the most popular thing to do is judge yourself. But those all leak energy. And when your energy is leaking, you're less potent. Your capacity for miraculous healing and solutions is weaker. Yeah. So as we move into the world where, and this is something I'm talking a lot. So Diane, I'm gonna pause there. You got anything you want to share before I move on?
Well, hopefully the recording got everything because there was a piece there where you just froze and I was like, what is she talking about? I don't know. But I hope it got your whole speech.
How much? Do you recall where
I
it
don't know
ended?
what I don't know what time it was. It was like right when you started talking in this section. It was I lost you for a few seconds, but then you came back.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I think we leak energy all the time. And we we also give our power away in many situations. So like, for example, when I finished my exam, I had just gotten the call and my dad had called me and he's like, well, there's this new problem. And I was like, well, I just finished an exam. I'm not going to deal with this problem until I am done writing down everything that was on my exam. And then I'll deal with this problem. And that was me taking back my energy, right? Because if I just shifted into what happened right now, then I'm not empowering myself to move into my future. So I was like, she's okay right now. This is not something I have to take care of this second, right? It's not an emergency. I will deal with it in a moment. And I did that. And then we're here now recording. So I'm still taking a break from the drama that we're going to have to deal with in probably 30 minutes. But yeah, it's definitely recognizing where you have to set boundaries, take back your energy, um, and shift things so that then we can surrender and allow more.
Yeah. Yeah, those micro moments are huge because we think in order for me to have a timeline I desire, I have to have these grandiose activities, but your timeline of your desires is a bunch of micro moments strung together. So when Diane's saying, "Okay, pause, I'm not going to put my energy into that. I'm going to keep my energy on me." That's one of those micro moments that lays a brick on her golden timeline. So it's when we do those little micro moments that we keep ourselves calibrated. And so what we're seeing on the global stage with the Epstein files and how it's the tip of the iceberg and it's not even the bulk of the heaviness that's been going on for so long. As the dark is being revealed, what I understand energetically, and this is actually documented in psychology and trauma healing, is that only when a system, which is what human consciousness is a system, only when this system feels stable enough and has enough available love can the trauma come up. So when we feel overwhelmed and in doom and gloom and in terror over everything that we're hearing, we need to do our part to triage our own nervous systems, take breaks, cry, scream, kick, punch, be angry, feel the feels. And in the back of your mind, keep it in your mind that this is only coming up now because we're mature enough to be able to finally deal with it. That gives me some solace to know, okay, we've been wanting to build a world of love and peace and unity, but it would never have been able to happen on the foundation with that stuff stuck in the foundation. It couldn't. You cannot build a foundation when that exists. You've got like toothpick foundation on a stilt house. It can't happen. So give yourself a reminder that, okay, all this is coming up because it's time and it's like we're ready. We can do this. We can heal it. Um, Part one. And then part two, I worked with dark energies when I was working with a shaman. No, I worked with a shaman who was working with dark energies when I lived in LA. And he shared with me that when you're dealing with like demonic energies, you can't do it with fear because that's like Velcro, they'll stick to you. So when you're dealing with and seeing these heavy things surface in the world, it's important to work to come back to love. When you're in the energy of love, you're actually able to dictate the container and say, you're not welcome here. I accept that you exist. You're supposed to exist. I don't know why you exist, but it's not my job to know why. You, the creative intelligence has you here for a reason. I accept that you exist, but you're not welcome in this space. So we have to start to claim our power in those ways as well, in our own personal field. And then once we feel stable enough, we can make those big declarations on a global scale. But it's very important, I feel, to make this a conversation because we need to be stewards of the loving world that we're calling in. So we need to know how to hold that.
Yeah, and I think to live in that vibration of love, you have to really focus on healing yourself and release resentments and release pain and release all of this darkness, right? And especially if you're in the sandwich like me, right? You're in the sandwich and you're dealing with children and you're dealing with family and you're taking care of family, you're going to have resentments come up, which is an opportunity for you to heal those past mistakes that were made that created that resentment. Right. So those are some of the things that have been coming up for me. It's like all of this stuff is falling on my plate, but now I'm feeling some resentment about how I was taken care of. And now I am taking care of people. But it's an opportunity to heal that resentment, right? So we can move into a state of love and know that I'm here to help her through this part of her journey with love. And it's a lot of work, but if I release the resentment, it makes it so much easier to flow through it and then allow these insights or opportunities to come to me of how to make it easier, right?
Yeah, those bricks land heavy, girl, because it's such a thing. And many of Diane and I both, and many people who would tune into this conversation, you're cycle breakers. We're here deliberately, intentionally, divinely ending patterns and cycles of abuse and dysfunction, which has a burden. There's burdens to that. There's a lot of, it feels very unfair, feels very unjust, but we need to come to peace with that. I like to do the internal family systems parts work and the theta healing for working with the neuroplasticity, your ability to have new beliefs. That's those tools have been very helpful for me. Um, but like it's unfair for us to expect ourselves just be like, oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just do it because I can. That's abusive to yourself. So there needs to be you need to give yourself time to step aside and be like, this is bullshit. This is unfair. I deserve better. But like you have to give yourself those moments, and I've given that to myself. Journaling really hard can help get some of the fear, anger out. Pushing a wall, like just finding a way to like channel that heavy energy out because it needs to be. We spiritually bypass and gaslight ourselves all the time. But yeah, so and that helps us not leak energy. And that helps us when we declare to dark entities, you're not welcome here. We don't have like a screen door where they can turn into mist and come straight in, right? We have a solid boundary. We can hold a solid boundary. Pause. You're not welcome here. Go, right? So that's where we're also wanting to shore up our energy, clean up our thoughts, clean up our body, clean up our belief system because it's time and we're ready.
Yeah. And I think something that helped me today, right, as these feelings are coming up and these resentments are coming up, and it wasn't at the opportune time, right? I was about to take an exam. Like, I can't be thinking about this crap right now. And it's something a therapist told me a few years ago was come up with a box or a container where you can put those thoughts and know that you're going to address them when you're ready later on this afternoon or tonight. You're going to do a healing session, or for me, I'm called to do like a heart balancing mindfulness activity, kind of release all that resentment from my body. But I knew I couldn't deal with it at that moment. So that was what I was called to do. I was like, okay, as these thoughts keep popping in, I have an opportunity to place them in the little jar that I have downstairs. It's this beautiful vase, and that's where I always put all of these negative thoughts, and that's where it is. And I put the lid on it and left it for now. I will deal with it later when I have the opportunity, and I'm going to take this exam, right? And in some cases, you might have the opportune time to deal with it in that moment, and you deal with it. And you go, I love doing boxing. I feel like that's a great way to get anger. So I'm feeling resentment or anger, I will put on a video and start boxing and punching the air. But pushing against the wall seems like it would do the same benefit.
Yeah.
So use the opportunity of whatever it is that you have. Like the way I was feeling to shift today while I was waiting for you to get on, I was like, well, my dog's right there. I'm going to play with him. And that's what I did. I played with him and I shifted the mood, and I was like, okay, we're getting back into the zone of podcasting and talking about spiritual things. And I did it with my puppy.
Well, animals are 1,000,000% healers, and just being able to be in their presence and like calibrating to them, like tune into what they're thinking. If we can do that, it gets us into such a better state. Our vibration rises, unless, of course, they just shat in your shoes, in which case you might be a little irritated with said animal. But by and large, just, yeah, they've already figured this stuff out. I genuinely believe it. Animals are healers.
Yeah, but they're a great gift, and you can use them as an opportunity to break that monotonous day, right? They come in to cuddle with you. They come in to tickle you. Like yesterday, I was in the Zoom with my teacher, and I was like, "Well, I can't leave right now, buddy. Like, you're gonna have to figure this out." And he just wanted to play, and I was like, "Okay, we're just gonna rub your belly." And he took the opportunity to take a nap. I'm like, "Okay, perfect. I'm gonna keep rubbing your belly, and we're gonna keep in this nice, joyful mood while we're learning something."
Yeah, and I like to imagine, like, instead of, I like to imagine, what can I do to bring joy to this puppy's day? Or what can I do to bring joy to this bird's day? Or what can I do to help their experience be lighter? because when our highest calling as humans is service. Um, and when we get out of our own way and we look at someone else and be like, how can I make your day a little bit better? I like doing that with strangers. I haven't like deliberately done this in a while, but I think it's a good time to do it. Where the only rule is don't let anyone know you're doing it, but do something kind for somebody else. Again, don't tell them what it is. Don't let anyone try to avoid anyone seeing you do it. And no, and don't tell anyone. Don't just only you and creator know that you did something wonderful for someone else. Doesn't have to be anything big. You can go sweep their front patio, um, whatever it is. I one time was leaving a parking lot at a beach and there was a meter maid giving tickets. I had a quarter in my pocket and she was getting ready to walk. This was back when we used quarters for meters. You remember that? I
Long,
ran up to
long
the
time
car
ago.
next to me's meter and I put a quarter in. I was like, ha ha! Right when she was getting ready to start writing the ticket. I don't know if they ended up getting a ticket later, but it
And the
felt
person
good.
doesn't even know you did
They
that.
have no idea. They have no idea. I felt like I just pulled a fast one by the system.
I like
But
that. I like that concept of paying it forward. I think I try to do that often. And actually it's part of my orgasmic healing, right? The K in orgasmic is kindness. And it's how can you exhibit kindness towards others? And when you exhibit kindness towards others, you're actually receiving the kindness yourself, right? So I think it's a very powerful tool. And the more we use those kinds of things, we begin to ripple effect and change that environment around us. And then
yeah,
people start to do things for you that you don't even know that they're doing, right? And the universe starts to send you things that you don't know that are happening because you're exhibiting more kindness.
yeah,
The other thing that came to me while you were talking about the animals and doing something for them that makes them happy, I'm laughing about yesterday because yesterday I decided, okay, I have to send my client her box and I'm going to bake these cookies. And I was literally baking the cookies to put in the box, which is the final element. And the dog was staring at me because I was singing. I was singing about the cookies, like a silly, stupid song about making cookies. And he was just like, this is interesting. And I remembered I used to do that with my bird before I had to give him away. I used to do the same thing and they would look at me like this and they would be
oh,
happy that I was singing some silly song. But there's
no.
plenty of opportunities to be silly and to be kind, both to animals and to humans.
I love that. Yeah, I like that idea of singing. I've been noticing I've been talking and like being goofy with myself more than I usually am lately. I think that's a natural impulse to balance out the heaviness. Your nervous system is like, all right, it's so thick everywhere I go. Everyone I look at is in like some kind of like nervous system shutdown. Um, I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep it weird. I'm gonna start singing and skipping to my car. I don't even know. I highly recommend skipping to your car because your inner child is like, wow, really? We get to do that in the adult body? That's so fun. But yeah, making up goofy songs to everything. Although I will warn, I had a friend a few decades ago. Even if he was always bringing, like, he would catch a word of something I said and like unlock a song from the archives and just start singing it, but I'm still talking. I'm like, fool, could you pay attention? And one time I'm like on the verge of tears telling him something really hard that just happened. And he took a word and he ran with it. And I'm like, fool, I'm like on the back, I'm about to cry here. And you're like over here singing like a song from Greece or some shit. Like, not okay. It's not okay.
He was trying to give you a silly gift in the middle of
Which is
your
great, but
trouble.
not while a person's trying to process. That disrupts it. I'm going to
Yeah.
say to him, in case he's listening, I might send him this video. He knows who he is. Um, that we often do that when someone's in a heavy mood because we don't know how to be happy when someone around us isn't. So hopefully he figured it out. I'm sure his wife taught him how. I'm sure that little fun habit ended quickly.
I imagine that it did. I imagine.
They're still
But it was
married,
good.
so
It was good to have the little singing things going on yesterday because there were still challenges happening. So I would get phone calls and then I would be, well, I'm still baking cookies, so I'm gonna sing, and help shift that mood.
I think that's a good project for all of us going forward. And I think we're about ready to wrap up in a minute here. But let's end on that note because we had some pretty heavy, dark stuff in the beginning of this chat. Let's maybe for the next week see if we can't make songs up during every challenge. I know it's easier to maybe write a note and put it on your refrigerator or something. That when you're in a challenging situation, taking care of it, can you come up with a song? Can you just sing about it? Going to get my mom and take her to the doctor's. Whoop, 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 whoop. Like, can you make something like my right knee is still not back to, and I might have to go for like a full both knees physical therapy thing. My knees have their own story and they will get better when they want to. Like, just making shit up as you go. It definitely lifts the mood. And I think that's probably the greatest way to recall your energy and seal up any leaks too.
I like the challenge. I have plenty of things to be singing about today because it's gonna be tons of different appointments that I gotta go to, but I'm gonna make it a singing day.
Well, what if you wrote down the list of challenges so that you didn't miss any? So write them all
Yeah.
down and then like just start keep it with you and be like, oh, let's sing about, the next thing and just kind of, give yourself creative freedom.
I'll work on my song today. I mean, I did it yesterday with the cookies, so I definitely
All right,
can
well,
do it
and I
again.
think I think we should send each other voice notes with little clips of our songs. And then we can string
Okay.
them together and have like a top 40 hit or something.
Maybe it'll end up a commercial for the podcast
It
someday.
could. Jingles come out of thin, goofy air anyway. So,
Sounds like a good challenge.
all right, everyone listening, I invite you to join that. And then you can share with us or with each other what you came up with.
Sounds fun.
All right, let's go do this thing.
Let's do it.
Thanks
See
everyone for
you.
tuning in. We'll see you next week. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.